Hello, Maranui. This is Palan from Onu-Koro. Though we're actually transmitting live from another Onu-Koro spot this week. I'll get to that in a bit. First I have to apologize. About a lot. And I'll let Puhi's report for this week explain why. Greetings from the desert of Po-Koro. This is Puhi from the transmission system guard of Po-Koro. This past week has been filled with unfortunate incidents. 3 days ago while on patrol we found a Koli ball. One of my friends told me it was a comet. One of those that a Matoran called Akmu was selling. We thought someone had lost theirs, so we decided to tell this Akmu upon our return to Powahi. My friends started getting restless since there was little else to do while guarding, so they played a quick Koli match with me as their referee. I didn't really play since I have terrible aim and suck playing Koli. The match ended up in a draw. The strange events, though, came that night when my friends began feeling ill. They got so bad I had to drag them back to the village, where I found they were only the latest victims of a strange sickness. I went to visit Akmu to return the comet, but he was nowhere to be found. The next day I found the transmission tower in a state of disrepair, with the strangest things being not that there were signs of Rahi attacks, but of damage coming from some kind of a tool. Who aside from Rahi would attack a tower? I worked for 2 days trying to fix the tower, but I'm worried about the sickness, and yet I don't want to leave the tower unguarded either. With this, I finished the weekly report. Puhi signing off from the Po-Koro tower. Thank you, Puhi, for that report. If you haven't heard the news yet, the comet balls were a fluke. No, they were more than a fluke. They were infecting innocent Matoran, and had it not been for Takua and Toapahatu, and that's what I have to apologize for. Look, in no way did I know about the infected Koli balls when Akmu offered me the advertisement, and I really do hate myself for having brought harm upon so many of you. After the trust that you all put in me and the way that I've let you all down. Please know that at no point did I know that these comet balls would be infecting my friends, my listeners, and know that I will do all I can to try and make this up by keeping you all updated and connected as best as we can in times where we should all be more responsible than before. I guess that's as good a segue as any into the news, so I'll address Onu-Koro first to explain why you can hear all of this loud noise and why Hoist me up, I'm starting to fall down.
You're not the lightest Onu-Toran around, you know that?
Hey, this was your idea, don't complain.
My idea was the device I'm tinkering with, not having to constantly hoist you up to report on site.
Well, until my leg magically heals, or as you finish your device, whichever comes first, this is the way that we're doing things when we report live. Sorry. So yeah, we're on site by Shaft B, because Onu-Koro's been in quite a hubbub about a lot of stuff. First off, a mining accident caused a lightstone shortage. And also, Kofojaga in the region seem to have increased more than usual. Along with that, miners at the aforementioned Shaft B have hit upon looks like a sundial of some sort. I know you can't really see it that well, we can't yet transmit the live images, so I'll try to describe it as best as I can. It's made out of some sort of smooth material, but it appears to be harder than your usual protodermis, or at least the other Onu-Matoran have not been able to actually get through it with regular tools. They tell me that it has 18 sections with some carvings that we really still can't translate, and it's honestly kind of beautiful. I know discovering new things about our home is scary, yes, but I mean, if you could see this thing right now,
Keep going. There's more to report.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that's Onu-Koro news. Now from Likaro, we've heard that some of the Matoran and Turaga Matau were captured by Nui Rama inside a hive, but they were rescued thanks to Toa Anua and also the aid of Toa Liwa and the Gakko Force. In Ga-Koro, the repairs keep trucking along, and from Po-Koro, Puhi did a good job of filling us all in. Now, before we proceed with Volik's report, here is something new for the show. We actually have our first work of art from another Matoran. We'll also use this chance to test to see if we can actually transmit visual mediums with our own technology. Obviously, we can't really transmit live, but maybe we can transmit something that we've already preloaded. So, here goes. Okay, it should be materializing now. Please let us know afterwards if it actually does work. And here's the accompanying report with the piece of art. Greetings, fine patrons of Hello Matanui. I am a traveling psychic. Naturally, I am a very dormant individual and rarely leave the confines of my remote dwelling on the outskirts of the island. However, I have experienced a vision so profound and troubling that I thought it best to take up traveling to spread the message as far as I possibly could. The vision in question was extremely vivid, so much so that I managed to capture an image of it in fine detail from memory alone. The contents of this concerning display seem to resemble an undead horde of something, with a character of steely determination and vengeance. The cryptic-looking symbols that have been enshrined on these moons in the sky seem to resemble one of the many of the ancient languages. In my years studying them, I grew to recognize many of them, and this particular ancient dialect in question spans further back than any of the other ones that are recorded, and I believe it to say, await our return. To say that this statement is concerning would be a gross understatement, to say the least. During the vision, several of these passing creatures called to me with a deep despair in their voices, repeating the phrase plastered on the moons in its respective language. Help me up again. Alright, thank you. Whether or not this is a warning of a great cataclysm or simply a bad dream, I intend to spread word of it as far as possible, and let others interpret it how they choose. However, I am personally convinced that this is much more than a simple nightmare. Goodbye, my friends, and good luck in your endeavors. And that should be the visual, moving out, however it's supposed to look on the other end. Hopefully that worked, and thank you so much to that Matoran for the image that he has sent to us, and hopefully the image that appeared for all of you along with the accompanying report. Now, here is Volik's report for the week. Hello again, it is Volik. I was unable to convince Taiki to travel with me, understandably so, but I was hoping to catch a ride on his Kiwa bird. Guess it's on foot from here. I left Ga-Koro rather immediately after a resupply and set out towards the Kini Nui. My initial thought was to travel back across Kauai, but with the treacherous summer storms, I began to doubt the mountains would be safe for travel, especially with the rise in Muaka attacks in the area. Then I thought I would take a boat from Ga-Koro to Tawaki and head via Trencron Break, but the only boat left intact by the Tarakawa fight was in use. Bye, Takua. Thanks, buddy. I'm sure he had good reason for taking it. It's just frustrating that another travel option is out. And I can't just walk back to Takaro. The area between here and there is full of rahi, so another no-go. However, there is another path. An entrance to Onuwahi isn't too far from Ga-Koro. It will be quite the walk to Onu-Koro from the entrance, but it should be a safe and easy one. Sure, it's underground, which has always made me nervous, but Onu tunnels had plenty of light stones last time I was there, so I should be fine. And by the time I'm there, the rumored Onu-Lewahi highway should be finished, so I figured that it would be the fastest way to go, as it'll put me into part of the Lewahi that is close to the Kini Nui. So I set out to that entrance 2 days ago. During my first night, however, I had an encounter with a Fiko spider. I still had my guard sword, so I was able to fight it off, but without a shield, as I cannot carry one anymore thanks to, my shoulder, it was far more difficult. The Fiko loves to shoot webs in the faces of their prey, so shields help me in that regard. But regardless of the peril, I am near the entrance. by this time this reaches you, I might have passed out of Onu-Koro if all goes smoothly. Or I might get lost in the supposedly endless tunnels of darkness and mines. Yay! Signed, Valak. Thank you again so much, Valak, for that report. We will keep relaying your information. And that's it for now, because Nuparu and I are getting a bit tired of this. We hope you liked our reporting on site, something that we've actually wanted to do for a while, and that would allow us to bring the news directly to you.
As soon as we perfect the device for your leg.
Yes, right. As soon as we perfect the device for my leg, as soon as that's finished, hopefully things will be a lot smoother than Nuparu having to do my actual grunt work. But thank you again so much. Apologies again for my mistake from last week. I promise to be better for all of you. This was Palan reporting live from Shaft B and Onu-Koro, and we'll see you next week.